welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to show you guys today a palette I've been waiting forever to get, and this is the Urban Decay After Dark palette. Oh my god, I've been going to every Sephora store, and the Urban Decay just opened up a store in Dubai, and it's at City Walk, and it is so beautiful. Honestly, every time I went to City Walk and I was just waiting for the store to open, and it was taking absolutely ages, and finally it did, and it is like the teeniest tiniest cutest thing ever, and it is just beautiful. So I've heard that the After Dark palette has come out in the US and I think possibly in the UK quite a while ago, and I've just been waiting for ages for it to arrive in the UAE. So finally it did. I was at the Urban Decay store at City Walk and was managed to get my hands on the After Dark palette. As far as I'm aware, this is not out in the local Sephora's yet, or I haven't actually seen it. I think it might get there at some point, but I managed to pick this up and this definitely still had stock, so I was very excited, and I wanted to show you a first impressions and all of the swatches and all the good stuff, and let's get started. I mean, let's look at the packaging itself. It is gorgeous in the only way that Urban Decay can do, which is this beautiful purple, which is I think their signature color. But if you just look at that box in the light, there's that beautiful multi-rainbow duochrome. I mean, what do you call something that just shifts color in all of the rainbow shades? Multi-chrome? I'm sure there is a name for it, I'll find out, but it is beautiful. So that is just the cardboard packaging. It says Urban Decay After Dark, Late Night, Anything Goes, and on the back are all of the shade names, and there are 10 shades in here, and there is a brush included. So if we open this up, I haven't actually opened it. I did swatch it in store and it seemed beautiful. So really excited to open this up. And as usual, I can't get anything opened. Come on now. There is just something about cardboard packaging that I cannot get open. There we go. And it slides out that way, and I mean, honestly, Urban Decay does the best packaging. On the inside, there is this tie-dye, kind of marbled effect in kind of black and purple. Just really pretty. I'm kind of sad of throwing this away, but it will go. And the palette itself looks exactly like the packaging as well. It's got that rainbow shift effect, and it is just so stunning. It is in a plastic packaging, so it's a lot sturdier. It's not cardboard, which is nice to see. And I think I'm just really loving the new packaging that Urban Decay has been coming up with. It's a little bit bulky if you're thinking of taking it to travel or you just want to store it in your collection, but I do find that it lasts a little bit longer instead of the cardboard packaging, so that is quite nice, and I can see fingerprints all over it as well. But I mean, that is so beautiful. There's a little bit of information on the back, don't really care about that. I'm just interested in the palette itself. So opens up, oh, it is gorgeous, just oof. So I've got like a little speck of something that has just fallen on my dress, and it's completely coated it in pigment. So there was something of it that fell, but that's alright. So it opens up completely like this. It's got a really large mirror right there, and with a little UD sign just on the corner over there, and then you get the 10 shades, which are really lovely. I'm just going to take the brush out before it falls out and show you the different colors. Look at that. I mean, this is what Urban Decay does the best, is pigmented bright colors. And you're not gonna see, if you're a nude only neutral girl, this is probably not the palette for you, but if you love colors, I think this is really exciting. It's got all of the colors that you can see. I mean, there is a couple of shades in here which I think would do really well if you just want something really simple and neutral, but otherwise this is definitely for someone who loves color and want to play with color, and it is incredibly stunning. I'll start out with, if you're a Urban Decay fan, you've probably bought, like I have, all of their previous palettes before. They're really famous for coming out with, you know, really chock full of colors. They're palettes with like 9, 10, 12 different shades, but they're also popular for their neutral eyeshadows as well. So if you have the naked palettes, all of those are based on neutral. So you kind of get the two spectrum, really, really bright colors, and then the key neutral colors. So there's really, you can go either way. I haven't really, Urban Decay does do some of the larger palettes where there is a combination of neutrals and colors at the same time. I've collected over a number of years a number of their palettes, and they've all been sitting there looking really beautiful. And I do find that the eyeshadow quality is fantastic, the pigment is fantastic, and they blend really well. Unfortunately, just because when I wear makeup on an everyday basis, I wear makeup to go to work, so oftentimes it is very neutral base. I tend to use the same colors again and again, which is all shades of brown and copper and gold, really neutral, and I don't really get the chance to play with a lot of colors, so it's a bit unfortunate, but I can't resist. They are really, really stunning. They are beautiful palettes, and there's just something about them that if you're a makeup addict and you love collecting makeup, I think this will be like one of the top on your list. There's a brush included in the palette, so that is what it looks like. I'm just going to put that to one side. As with their palettes, most of them are double-ended, and actually they feel really soft. Yes, they do. They feel really soft, and I think they're probably synthetic. I think Urban Decay is one of the brands that don't test on animals. I might have to find it out and put the information in the comments box below. But this one has a kind of see-through purple brush handle here. It just says Urban Decay After Dark, and that's really, really cute. And it's got a kind of base eyeshadow brush on one side, so that is your normal kind of flat base shadow brush, and then on the other side is a teeny tiny detail brush. So I don't know whether that's because it will pick up color and just make it really exact as to where you want to place it. It's quite unusual for them to put in a very tiny brush. Usually on the other side it's like a blender. But I guess if you really want to pack on the colors and do little details, especially on under your eyes, that could be a really good one to use. So definitely, they're not a throwaway brush. You can definitely still use this, and it just sits in the palette, kind of in the middle right there. To the shades themselves, there are 10 shades in here, and they look really cool. Starting out with Ultra, Scene, Supersonic, Sinful, Off-Duty, Druggy, Backfire, Lounge, Fringe, and Paralyzed. Now, Urban Decay tend to come up with some really unique names. They have had a lot of press recently, and a lot of comments from people who don't necessarily agree with some of the shade names I've chosen, especially something that says Druggy. I mean, they're known for their controversial names, and they do cater to a certain type of people, I suppose. So you do you. In any case, I'm just interested in the eyeshadows for themselves. But yeah, I'm gonna swatch this shadow starting from the top, and then I'll go down to the bottom. Let's start with Ultra. And as usual, I'm just barely kind of tapping in, running my fingers around, and getting the shade on my fingers. So that is what Ultra looks like, which is totally not, there we go. And it's very unique. I think I'm gonna take like the first 4 shades and see if I can get color on my fingers. Ooh, pretty. That is very, very pretty. There we go. So the first 4 shades, I'm gonna show you. There we go. So that is Ultra, which is this really pale yellow with a very unique green shift. Don't have anything like that in my collection. It's quite interesting color. Followed by Scene, which is a very, very pretty peachy pink, almost duochrome color. You kind of get that gold pink shift. And then followed by Supersonic, which is one of the shades that I was most excited about. It's this beautiful red metallic shade. And then you have Sinful right there, which is much more of a very yellow gold shade right there. So I'm going to swatch them on the back of my hands as well. And that is very, very pretty. So going from this side, there's Alter, followed by Scene, Supersonic, and then Sinful right there. And then in between, I'm just going to clean my fingers off and then go through the other swatches. I'm going to go with Off Duty. That is really, really pretty. Druggy, Backfire, and Lounge. Ooh, Lounge is a little bit grittier than the rest. So the rest of them are quite kind of soft, little bit creamy, but you can definitely feel that they're still powder eyeshadows. So those are the shades. Now that is a very, very beautiful kind of bronzy brown in Off Duty, and certainly if you want to do a neutral look, that is beautiful. Then you have a very psychedelic purple Druggy, which I think is like a very quintessential Urban Decay color. You find that color a lot in different palettes in different forms. Followed by Backfire, which is that slightly more muted, slightly warm tone purple, followed by Lounge, which is that duochrome green brown shade right there. So let's go. That is really, really pretty. There we go. Oh, just really beautiful. So that is that lovely deep bronzy brown Off Duty. That's Druggy right there, which is very cool tone, almost got a blue shift purple in there, followed by Backfire, and then you have Lounge right there. Finally, the last two shades are Fringed and Paralyzed. So I'm expecting these to be the stars of the show, and they are really lovely. If you're into your blues and your teals, I mean, those are really gorgeous colors. I mean, just look at that pigmentation. So that is Fringe, and that is Paralyzed. And I'm swatching on the back of my hands, just really, really gorgeous. And again, on the back of the hands, that is Fringe, and that is Paralyzed. Those are all of the swatches on the back of my hands. You can see the top row and then the bottom row. They are super, super pigmented. They are very bright colors and they are really beautiful. Now, I wanted to pick up this palette because I read in a lot of reviews that they were very, very similar to the Kat Von D Metal Crush eyeshadows. I have swatched those individual eyeshadows from Kat Von D at the Sephora store, and I mean, they are stunning. They are creamy, super pigmented, super metallic, absolutely stunning colors. And I've been waiting for ages for Kat Von D to come up with a palette with all of the shadows in there. I would totally pick one up at an instance. The reason why I haven't actually bought any of them is because I'm trying to declutter all my single eyeshadows. I very much prefer palettes as opposed to single eyeshadows, but that seems to be growing a little bit. So I know that Kat Von D has also, they came up with another palette quite recently that had the same type of formulation, but not necessarily those colors that I wanted from her usual permanent line. So, and they had a lot of matte eyeshadows as well, which wasn't what I was looking for in really bright colors. I just wanted those metallic Super Crush eyeshadows. So there's a lot of shades in here which are very, very similar in terms of what the colors are. There's also primary colors in here. I mean, Supersonic is just really, really pretty. It's not quite that bright red as I expected from Kat Von D, but it is still very stunning. I mean, that gold is lovely. Fringe and Paralyzed. I mean, if you're into blues and you just want like that pop of color on your eyes, those are really, really gorgeous. I mean, seriously, no complaints about those. And they've got obviously the couple of purples, which I love as well. And then you have the usual kind of green brown. A lot of different brands do that duochrome green brown. I mean, MAC has a very famous one called the MAC Club, and definitely I have seen that shade in quite a few different other palettes and single eyeshadows as well. But I mean, really, there's a couple of neutral eyeshadows colors which are really, really beautiful. Off Duty especially I really like Scene. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna use Ulta because it's got that odd green shift. I think it can look beautiful on the right skin tone and with the right look, but I'm not quite sure how to use that, but I'll figure it out. So in terms of the color shades, they are really, really stunning. I mean, obviously, if you're gonna swatch something with your fingers, it's always gonna come out a little bit more pigmented than usual as opposed to when you're using a brush. But I think from past swatches and use of Urban Decay eyeshadows, I think they really perform well with brushes as well. It's kind of like the type of formula that can you really build upon even if you use a brush, or you can use your fingers and just sort of pat them in with your fingers as well. So they're quite versatile. I think, I mean, in terms of pigmentation, you're not going to have an issue in terms of color range. If you're looking for something that is really colorful, pigmented, something out there, if you don't have a lot of color in your collection, I think this is one to consider because it is seriously a stunning palette. So really, really lovely. And in terms of the entire packaging, I mean, like, I can't say no to this. This is really, really stunning. I love the fact that there is that rainbow color throughout, and I can see already it's picked up a lot of smudges, so it's probably something you have to keep clean if you're one of those people who are really fastidious about this kind of things. So that is the After Dark palette, and it is incredibly beautiful. I cannot wait to actually start using this properly. Seriously, on the weekend, I'll probably have to come up with an interesting colorful eye look just so I could wear this. Really, really pretty. I think it retailed for about, I want to say it was a little bit pricey in Dubai, probably reaching to like 270, almost 300 dirhams. I don't think it is like $100 in US dollars. So probably you're looking around the 40-50 mark for Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. So it is quite a lot of hefty change, and I'm sure there's a lot of other brands out there which are slightly more affordable and slightly cheaper and still have great colors. But if you're an Urban Decay fan, if you love colors, if you want something that's easy in a palette, this is certainly one to look out for. It is absolutely gorgeous. I can't reiterate that enough. I mean, it is beautiful. I'm just going to show you the swatches again. And I have a medium skin tone. The colors look really, really pretty and bright and just effervescent. So really stunning. And that concludes my first impressions and swatch of the Urban Decay After Dark palette. Let me know in the comments below. Do you like the palette? Have you actually bought it? What is your favorite eyeshadow palette of all times? I'd love to know in the comments below. If you happen to like this video, don't forget to click like and the thumbs up sign below. And if you're new to this channel, please do click subscribe. I tend to upload once a week, and if there's anything that you'd like to know in terms of things you'd like me to review, makeup, skincare, anything to do with cosmetics in the beauty world, do let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you. So I'll see you next time. Bye.